And we enjoy the heaviness. Now, as we allow the body to be the way it is, we achieve freedom from worry about the body. Let's enjoy this freedom. Let's watch this peace. Now let's share our peace with other living beings. In our minds, voicelessly, we just allow, we permit, may all beings in this room be in peace. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. All beings in this country be in peace. May all beings on this continent be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. And when we have changed the way of our sitting, let's take one more minute, during which we will not move. We will be like statues. And we will watch curiously what's going on in the mind. Is there any thinking or hearing or seeing or smelling? Is there any bodily contact with the outside world? Whatever we notice, we are curious and watch that. Okay, very well. So, I've noticed that Jackson and Wembowa had some problems during meditation. You need to keep your camera on, whether you're healthy or not, whether you feel beautiful or not. You need to have it on, you know. Like when you go to school, you also do not take something and say, "Oh, please don't look at me, you know, I don't want you to see me." You don't do that, right? So you shouldn't do that during our class as well. So keep your camera on, otherwise we remove you from the meeting. And during meditation, I need to see your legs, hands, and face so that I can check that your meditation is correct. All right? Because some of you, if you don't have the correct posture, then I need to help you to get the correct posture so that it's healthy and you do not get your legs permanently numb or some other problems like permanent back pain, permanent neck pain, and so on. So these things need to be resolved as soon as possible. So that's why you always need to have your camera on, right? If you don't have it, we just remove it. We just remove you. It's that simple. Okay, so I have noticed that Kai Nguyen probably didn't have correct posture. Kai Nguyen, can you tell me how did you meditate? Can you sit in your meditation posture and show us? How did you meditate? Kai Nguyen? Kai Nguyen, can you sit in your meditation posture? Can you show me how did you meditate? Uh-huh. So that's not correct. So you are placing your calf. What you are doing is you're sitting in this way. You're sitting in this way. It's a little bit different the way how you're sitting, but you are keeping your toes under a calf. How exactly are you doing it? I'm not exactly sure, but I can see that you have your toes under your calf, and that's wrong. You should have all of the feet, calves, knees, and thighs on the floor. So it should be like this, you see? So we get this foot entirely on the floor, and then we get this foot entirely on the floor, all right? And then we get the calves entirely on the floor, knees are close to the floor, and the thighs are entirely on the floor. You think you can sit that way? No, not yet. You still have something under that, your other leg. See if you can say, you see, I have this and this one in front of each other. Doesn't have to be so accurate, can be a little bit like this, but you need to have all of the legs entirely on the floor. No, it's wrong. You're still keeping your calf on a foot, or so it seems. You can also try to open the knees a little more. You see? You can push the knees a little back so that they're further. Okay, that looks good. All right, so Wembowa, I hope that from the next class, I will be able to see your legs, hands, and face. Otherwise, unfortunately, you cannot join the class. And I need to see your video also. You have some technical problem? You're already unmuted, so you can tell us what's the problem. Wembowa. So it seems like Wembowa is not really here. So I will have to remove her. Is that a man or a woman? I don't know. All right. So I would like to ask everybody to grade your meditation piece. So please come close to your camera. You can grade 0 to 10. Remember to grade just one time. Every other time will not be taken seriously. Jackson will also need to turn on his video, otherwise I will remove him as well. Maintain your video nicely on. Franklin as well. Need to have it on. Sorry. So everybody come close to your camera and grade your meditation. You are telling me what was the level of peace you had in meditation. So if it was excruciating pain and it was very uncomfortable, it is 0. If it was like in the heaven and you're flying in the sky, then it is 10. If it is something, well, normal, nothing special, quite fine, is number 5. Okay, so 0 is horrible pain and suffering. 10 is like in heaven. 5 is totally normal, nothing special. And nothing interesting or uninteresting, not really painful, not really pleasurable, not at all. As soon as it, for example, you had a little bit of uncomfort, well, then it is 4 or 3. If you felt, oh, this was pretty peaceful, it was pretty nice, but nothing special indeed, then it is 6 or 7, okay? Doesn't have to be exact. No need to write 6.7 or that kind of thing. Just maintain full numbers, whole numbers. 8.7. No, we don't accept that. Okay, we'll accept only the first number. So if you write 8.7, it means 8 for us. Need to use only whole numbers. So I'm still waiting. We'll be giving you 20 seconds more. So now what are you doing? Whoever has not graded your meditation is now coming to grade their meditation. You are telling us the level of your peace. 0 is painful, very painful. 5 is pretty, nothing special. 10 is very special, like if you were flying in the heaven. If it was a little bit more than normal, nothing special, it's 6 or 7. If it was a little bit painful, but not much, then it is 3 or 4. And now that's it. So let's continue with...
9.
Sorry?
Mine is 10 or 9. It can be 10 or 9.
You will have to choose one and write it, but it really doesn't matter. Ideally, you do not grade 10, because 10 is when you're flying in the sky, and nobody here was flying in the sky. So you can really have highest only 9. And the lowest, 0, is as if you are boiled in boiling oil in the hell. Nobody here was in the hell. So you can do lowest 1. Okay? So do not use 10, do not use 0. Use lowest is really 1 for you, and highest is 9 for you. If you use 10, no problem. For next time, remember that. Okay, Edward, what it is? Did you feel like you were flying in the sky?
No, I actually picked it 1, but since you changed it, now it has to be 2 because, like, it was pretty bad, but just a bit of good, you know.
A bit of, well, then it would be probably 3. Yeah, no problem. Just remember next time to be to count with this new attitude. Totally no problem. Don't think about this. It's not serious.
Thank you, Venerable Sir.
We are then looking at your score, and we see whether you have pain for many days in a row. If one day is something uncomfortable, but otherwise it's good, we don't really tell you anything. But if I see that you again and again have so much of suffering in meditation, then I have the plan to contact you separately and help you with the practice. If you feel you need help, contact me, send me a message in Viber, or tell one of the organizers, explain, hey, I have problem with your meditation, then we connect and resolve that. All right. So, Mimi has some problem. Okay.
Yes,
maintain always your camera on. It's of utmost importance for us. So now I will be giving you 3 refuges, 5 precepts. So everybody can unmute. Keep your hands together at the chest. So everybody can unmute right now.
Tasty. Oh, Con đang chụp cái này, thầy.
Right. So you can keep your hands at the chest, and we can start. Mahang vadami tang vadeta. Aham bhante. Saranena saha Panchasilang dhammang yajami Anugaham tatva Silang detha me bhante Anukampang upadaya Dutiyampi aham bhante Saranena saha Panchasilang dhammang yajami Anugaham tatva Silang detha me bhante Anukampang upadaya. Okay, and now I would like to ask everybody to pay full concentration on taking the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, okay? Now you're still requesting me. See if you're concentrated and leave the chat box alone, all right? Don't worry about the chat box. Now you're going to take 3 refuges, 5 precepts, and you're first requesting me for that. So let's continue. Tatiyampi aham bhante. Saranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anugaham tatva. Silang detha me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. Yeah, I would like to ask Rambo to set up the camera so that I can see your face. You can see, I can see everybody's face. So let's continue now. You're going to take 3 refuges. It's a big thing. Taking 3 refuges is a very important and very serious thing. So see if you can all pay attention. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa
Buddhang saranang gacchāmi, dhammang saranang gacchāmi, sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchāmi, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchāmi, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Saranaгаmanang paripunnang. Very well. So, Jackson, what is the first precept?
The first precept is no killing.
Panati pata vera manisikha padang samadhiyami. Okay, Wembowa, what is the second precept?
No stealing.
That's right. Adinna dana vera mani sikha padang samadhiyami. Then Vumimi, what is the third precept?
No sexual misconduct.
Kame sumichhachara vera mani sikha padang samadhiyami. Sian, what is the fourth precept?
Feeling?
No. Try another one.
Do not drink alcohol and no drugs?
No. Try another one.
Species.
So, Mo, can you help Sian? What is the fourth precept?
Not telling lies.
So, thank you very much. Sian, what is the fourth precept?
No telling lies?
Yes, that's right. Thank you very much. Musavada vera mani sikha padang samadhiyami. Okay, then Ka'ai Nguyen, can you tell us what is the fifth precept? You're already unmuted. Sorry, what did you say, Ka'ai Nguyen?
And green alcohol.
And then it has two parts, right? Can you tell us both parts, Ka'ai Nguyen?
Integrous.
That's right. Not taking alcohol, not drinking alcohol, not taking drugs. You can keep yourself unmuted, please. Ka'ai Nguyen, you can unmute yourself. Ka'ai Nguyen, you can keep yourself unmuted, yes.
Don't green alcohol.
No. I have heard you. Just keep yourself unmuted. Ka'ai Nguyen, you're going to take the precept, so please keep yourself unmuted. Ka'ai Nguyen, can you please unmute yourself? Can you please unmute yourself and repeat after me? Panati pata vera mani sikha padang samadhiyami. So let's do the fifth precept. I was a little confused. So Sura mera yamachapamada thana vera mani sikha padang samadhiyami. Okay, so I will now wish you all that you protect and follow these three refuges and five precepts very well and maintain your mindfulness. So mindfulness is being aware of your mind. So if you're angry, you need to be aware of it, and you do not speak based on your anger. Instead, you apply wisdom and see, aha, anger harms me and others. So I don't want to be harmed. And if I don't want to be harmed, I also should not harm others. So whenever there's anger, we keep it in the mind and we don't use it outside as speech or action. All right. If you're able to keep it in the mind, and if you use wisdom, it may disappear. Sometimes it doesn't disappear. That will depend on the power of your wisdom. But sometimes you need to learn a lot to have that sufficient wisdom. That's why you are here. So I hope to teach you that wisdom so that whenever you are angry, you can keep it in the mind and have it dissolve so that it entirely disappears. and you can love and cherish and appreciate any living being and every living being in the world, including yourself. All right? So we maintain our mindfulness so that we protect ourselves from anger and greed. So that's what I will be wishing you. And then you can reply, Ma Bhante, yes, Venerable Sir. Let's try that together. You can keep your hands together at the chest. Tisaranena sadhing pancha silang dhammang sadhukang surakhitang katva appamadena sampadetha. All right, so let's continue in our story. So I would like to ask you to raise your hand if you remember what we were talking about last week without looking in the book. Whoever remembers what we talked about the last week without looking at the book, please raise your hand. Be sure that you remember, because I will ask you, and if you don't remember, it will be so embarrassing. Okay, so May, what did we talk about the last week? You're muted. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
The God chose 5 different things before he died.
That was what we repeated from the lesson before the previous lesson. But what was the new thing that I explained to you last week? Would you remember, May? No. Okay, so Alex, what was it?
Venerable Sir, last time we talked about yojanas, and if I'm correct, they are the distance of an ox cart wagon. I think like usually 10 miles.
You did not finish really the expression. So yojana is a distance. So let's ask Robert. Robert, what is yojana?
Yojana is the distance of an ox cart, which the distance it can travel in one day. The what we were talking about with yojanas was the it was a garden. I think it started with the.
I cannot hear you. Can you please come closer to the microphone?
The sacred garden in heaven that you said was 60 yojanas, where the Buddha went before he died, with someone else whose name I can't remember as well.
Sure. Thank you very much. Cherry, can you tell me what was the name of the garden out of your memory without looking in your book?
The name of the wait.
Are you sure you're not looking into your book?
I think I don't think it's in there.
You don't remember? So can you tell me what is the main, why do gods, other gods as well, go to the garden, go to this garden of joy? Mm-hmm.
So they go to the garden to forget about the death, and so they can enjoy peace and mindfulness again.
Okay. It seems Robert remembers the name of the garden.
Yeah, it was Nandavana garden.
That's right. Thank you very much, Nandavana. So today we will be looking at how the mom of the Buddha to be was getting ready for the Buddha to be to appear in her womb. Does everybody here know what's a womb? Whoever knows what's a womb, please raise your hand. Whoever knows what's a womb, W-O-M-B, Please raise your hand. That's not many people. Womb was your home a few years ago. So what could it be?
Easy peasy.
Anyone else? So we have only, how many? Only a few of you would know what's a womb. Even if you're not sure, raise your hand. Doesn't matter. You do not have to be 100% sure. You're not sure, just raise your hand. I will not be asking you this time. I just want to know how many of you know what's a womb. Okay, not really many. All right, well, you're not so many, so I will ask you. So I would like to ask, well, I spoke already with Robert, so let's speak with Nathan. Nathan, what's a womb?
I think it is in our mom's belly when we were just a tiny little baby.
Yes, that's right. So womb is the place where all of us first appear before we are born. Well done, Nathan. Thank you very much. So the Buddha to be, in order that he can be born as a human, he will first have to enter a womb. He will first have to appear in a belly of a mother. And that's what we will be talking about today. So let's see. So hopefully everybody can see my text. So at the precise moment of Bodhisattva Deva, of the Buddha to be the god, Setaketu's demise, Siri Mahamaya. So who is that? That was the chief queen of King Suddhodana, of the kingdom of Kapilavatthu. So here you get the name of the lady, her position, whose wife she was. She was the queen of the king. That was his name was Suddhodana. And where was that? That was in the kingdom of Kapilavatthu. Kapilavatthu was a huge city. It was a huge city in a large country. And King Suddhodana was in charge of that whole city. He was the king of that city. There is a better word for that, but we use the word king in this case because probably the city was autonomous. It means it was free. There was full freedom to do anything the king wants and to do in that city. Okay, so that queen was enjoying magnificent regal pleasures. What are regal? Regal means royal. It means in the palace. So the queen was enjoying many pleasures in the king's palace. Then she had now reached the third portion of the second stage of life called Majjhima Vaya. So this is a little complicated thing, but you may like to know that in Buddhism, we understand that humans usually live about 100 years, and 100 years is further divided into three portions. The first about 30 years, the second about 30 years, and then the remaining portion. So the second portion is about 30 to about 60 years. And the queen was about 55 years old. She was exactly 55 years old and 4 months. Okay. So now there was a festival. It was the 9th waxing day of Asalha. Well, this is a special kind of calendar that we will not talk about, but the chief queen was 55 years and 4 months old. The people of the kingdom were joyously celebrating a festival. It was a festival of the way how the stars look in the heaven. So the stars looked in the sky in some nice way, and so the people were celebrating that as they would every year. And one and all participated hilariously. Here, hilariously means very happily, not the new meaning, the modern meaning, in the festivity, outdoing one another in merrymaking. So they were competing in being happy, in dancing and singing and playing musical instruments and so on. And so the queen, she also joined this festival. And the festival was very special by the fact that nobody drank alcohol during this festival. Nobody drank alcohol during this festival. It's a very special thing. Usually today, people drink alcohol when they're having fun, but in the Buddha's time, during a festival, people did not drink alcohol. And there was also no beautification with flowers, perfumes, and ornaments. So you would just come there and enjoy the time with others, but you did not really drink alcohol, you did not apply any perfumes, you did not put any flowers into your hair to be more beautiful. On the full moon day of the month, the chief queen woke up early, took a perfumed bath, made a most generous donation. She donated probably to ascetics, to those who lived in the forest and meditated already before the Buddha appeared in the world. She then dressed up herself. She had a breakfast of amazing, delicious food. And then she took 8 precepts. We will be talking about 8 precepts after about a year or two. So it's a little bit stricter following rules. So you are taking 5 precepts every week with me, but 8 precepts are a little stricter. With 8 precepts, you're not allowed to sing or dance or listen to music. You're not allowed to play musical instruments, to use a lipstick or in another way, paint your face. You're not allowed to use perfumes and so on. And so then, so the queen, she was following 8 precepts, and she continued to a beautiful royal chamber, and she spent her day on a couch that was very beautiful. And then she had a dream. So it's usually the dream that you will hear about and read about. As you can see, we're going through many details, which you will not really find out in any other book. It's the special thing of this book that it provides us with these amazing details. So observing the 8 precepts, such as not dancing and singing and using perfumes and lying on the couch, the queen fell into a short slumber and had a dream. Okay, and what was that dream about? This dream predicted, this dream spoke about the future. This dream showed to the queen what will happen in the future, namely that a Buddha to be will be born. It will be born to her. So what happened? The 4 Chatumaharaja Devas. So these are the kings of 4 lower heavens. Okay, Chatu means 4, Maha means great, Raja means king, and Deva is a god. So these are god kings or king gods of the 4. These are 4 great. How to say that? These are the great gods the great kings of gods of the 4 realms, of the 4 lower realms of heaven. So these 4 gods, these 4 kings of gods, they lifted and carried the queen together with her bed to a very special lake in Himalayas. All right. So how could that happen? How do you imagine that? Well, we first have to know where are Himalayas. So let's look at where are Himalayas. So Himalayas are in the north of India. Okay. So you get India. It's a huge, huge country. It's about as big as the USA, and it's much bigger than Myanmar, incomparably bigger than Vietnam. And in the north of India, you will see there are the mountains of Himalayas. They're huge. They're huge. They could be, I'd say they're as big as maybe 2 Vietnams. Maybe about 2 Vietnams, okay? Very big, huge, huge. So the queen in her dream, she was in the Himalayas, and these kings of gods, they took her bed together with her, and they were carrying it to that lake. And there is a lake, it's called Anotatta. And then she was placed on the flat surface of the Arpiman slab, measuring 60 yojanas. Okay, this is maybe not so important, it's unnecessary detail. The point is that she was placed close to the lake Anotatta, all right? And she was placed there on a nice flat surface. Is it really Himalayas? I worry that actually Lake Anotatta is not in Himalayas, but it's in Uttarakuru. So this is actually not accurate information, so we will have to cross it out because I disagree. See, do that. So what is Uttarakuru? Uttarakuru is a special world of humans where people live until the age of 1,000 years. All right? You believe it or not, doesn't matter to me. I'm telling you what's in the scriptures. So there is this lake, Anotatta, in that very special world where there are really humans, they're not gods, not at all, they're humans, and they live 1,000 years. So she was carried to that lake, and she was placed there close to that lake under the shade of a sala tree, okay, of a huge tree. Thereafter, consorts of the 4 Chatumaharaja Devas came on the scene, took the queen to the lake Anotatta and bathed her and helped her get clean. Okay, so who are consorts? Consorts are wives. In the Buddha's time, usually kings would have not just 1 wife or 2 wives or 5 wives or 10 wives, they would have 100 wives. And it is believed that in heavens, the gods have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of wives.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not. So these wives of the 4 great kings of gods, they came to that place, to the lake, and they took the queen into that lake and they cleaned her. Be careful, this is still the dream. Now they dressed her in celestial costumes, which mean in clothes of the heaven. So these are clothes that are worn in heaven by gods, and they applied celestial cosmetics to her. So some perfumes and makeup and so on. And they also adorned her with flowers from heaven. So these are special flowers which grow only in heaven. And then she was put to sleep with her head towards the east in the inner chamber of a golden mansion inside a silver mountain not far away from the lake. So this is quite a mouthful. So you get a silver mountain close to the lake. Inside that silver mountain, there is a hollow. There is a place, there is space. Okay? And so these consorts and the kings of gods, they took this queen who was bathed and perfumed and cleaned and so on. She was taken into this chamber, into this hollow inside of that mountain. All right? And that hollow, that room was actually golden. Now, at that, so you can imagine golden walls, probably. At that moment in her dream, she saw a pure white elephant grazing around the golden mountain, not the silver one, the golden mountain, which was not far from the silver mountain where she was. Okay, so you have the lake Anotatta. Close by, there is one mountain, it's silver. Close by, there is one mountain, it's gold. It's golden, all right? And on that mountain, somewhere, there is a golden, what is there? Around that mountain, so down on the ground, not on the mountain. Down on the ground, around that mountain, there was a huge white elephant that is eating the grass, or just walking. It's hard, this word is complicated. So there is a white elephant that is walking on the grass around that golden mountain. Then what did he do? Then the white elephant descended from the golden mountain. So now we have a problem. So was it around or was it on the mountain? We don't know. Anyway, maybe the elephant was sometimes on the mountain and sometimes around the mountain. And so the white elephant went down from that mountain and he came into that silver mountain, into the room where the queen was. And then this white elephant walked around the queen clockwise. That means clockwise, like the clock, you know how the clock is working. So that's the direction in which he was walking. And then he somehow entered into her womb, into her belly, from the right side by breaking it open. If you cannot imagine, you're not alone. But that's what was her dream. Okay, it was a dream, and in dreams, anything is possible. So somehow this huge elephant made a hole into her belly, and this huge elephant entered into her belly. I suppose the elephant had to become a little smaller so that it could go through the opening.
How did it get smaller? How could an elephant get small?
Because it's a dream. And in dream, anything's possible.
Oh, like imagination or a nightmare.
Sure. That's how the queen felt it. That was the feeling of the queen. So at the time when the queen was thus dreaming, the god Buddha to be, Setaketu, was going around the Nandavana garden in Tusita, enjoying pleasurable things to see and things to hear. And then he died there with full comprehension and awareness. So he died mindfully, aware of what's going on in his mind. At that very instant, at that very moment, the Buddha to be appeared in the womb of the mother. Okay, we are not going to go through these very complicated explanations because they are difficult even for the teenagers, but we will be moving from here. So the event took place on the morning of Thursday, and we have the exact date when that happened according to the Burmese understanding. So the Sri Lankan monks will tell you probably a different date. Thais will surely also tell you a different date. It doesn't really matter. So the idea is that there was a specific time when the Buddha to be was appeared in the womb. And the precise moment of his conception was marked by the conjunction of the moon with the constellation Uttara Salha. So the point is here that the festivities based on something that people saw in the sky were right. They were festivities that were expecting the Buddha's birth. Just the people didn't know that they are not celebrating the way how stars look in the sky, but they're celebrating the time when the Buddha is going to be born. All right, and that's it. Whoever wants to go to sleep, you can, but make sure that you will write down the notes. We'll be writing a little short note about this. It's definitely better. It's definitely better for you to write the notes here, so you do not need to worry whether you wrote the notes or not, and where are they, and are they complete, and should you really write it, and how should you write them, and do you have some question, and so on. So it's better to write them right here. So you can take your notebook and write your date. It will be September 30, 2023 for Myanmar and Vietnam, and it will be September 29, 2023 for USA and Jamaica. So the heading will be the conception of the Buddha to be.
Jackson says he wants to leave.
Whoever wants can leave. I have already said it. And now you have there the first note. The Queen Mahamaya or Maya joined the festivities held because of an auspicious or lucky formation of stars in the sky. Nobody drank alcohol there, used perfumes or flowers to make themselves beautiful. Okay, so that's all. It's not little, but I think it's not too much. As soon as you finish, you can raise your hand. Bhumini, have you finished writing the note?
Yes.
Okay, yes, you can leave. Thank you for coming today.
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
So whoever has finished writing the note, you can raise your hand. Ray, you have finished writing the note?
Yes.
Okay, if you want to go, you can. I will be just waiting for the others to encourage them to write. So if you want to go, you can. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Goodbye, Venerable Sir.